everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a new makeup release video, a will I buy it, a purchase or pass, whatever you want to call it. I am going to be talking about new makeup that's recently come out and just my thoughts and opinions, whether I'm going to pick it up, whether I'm on the fence, whether I'm just gonna completely pass on it, all that good stuff, and just talk through my thought process. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, there's quite a few products, so let's just get started. All right, so if you didn't see my purchases and empties video, my last video that went up, which I'll link right up above, I am not home. I will be traveling for the next couple of months here, so clearly my background is not my normal background, but I'm just trying to make it work, continue with my uploading schedule. The show must go on, so hopefully that's okay, but you'll be seeing the background change quite often. I'm just in an Airbnb right now, and it'll probably switch up. Right now, I'm currently in Cyprus, and later on, I might be somewhere else. I don't know. But like I said, we're just gonna make it work. I'm gonna scoot over so I can insert in some pictures here. And we're gonna get started talking about all the new makeup releases. I think we're gonna kind of go in category-esque and talk about all the palettes, and then I'll go through and talk about all the random things. The first thing that I wanna talk about is the collab with Makeup on Your Radar and Dede Signature. So as of right now, the day that I'm filming, they've shown the 4 palettes. So there's 4 5-pan palettes, and this is going to launch on August 16th. Well, pre-sale starts August 16th, launch date August 20th, but I don't have pricing yet. So I will put that up on the screen because I should have pricing by the time that this goes live. This is really cool, like congrats on the collab, and I love the theming of it. I don't think I'm gonna be picking this up though. I am just trying to be a little bit more conscientious with my purchases and really think about what I'm bringing into my collection. I know under consumption is trending, or so I heard on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but that's what I've heard. I have been for like the last year or so just trying to be more mindful of my purchases. So realistically, like this is too colorful for me. There is one of the 5 pans is like an iridescent palette. It has 5 iridescent shimmers, but I'm gonna have to see pricing to know if I'm gonna pick that up. It's just for me, like I don't use all of my iridescent shades already, and considering the fact that like I'm not really drawn to the other 3 palettes, I just don't know if I'm gonna pick this up. If it's like a reasonable price, $30 or so, which for like iridescent shades, not giving me much hope, I would consider picking it up to support the collaborator. But after that, like there's just other things I think I'm gonna prioritize over. So let me know if you're gonna pick this up, if the shades call out to you. I do think it's really pretty though. It's just not something I think I would get use out of. Now, other palettes coming out. Let's quickly talk about this Natasha Denona Mini Rose palette. I posted about this on my community tab right when it launched. Like Natasha Denona just dropped this from the sky out of nowhere. I was super excited because I immediately commented and said like, is this all new shades? Because I don't know like the shades well enough. Like some people are super into that, but Natasha Denona's brand responded and said no, exclamation point, exclamation point. They're all new shades. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I'm for sure gonna pick this up. I posted about it on my community tab. And then like 30 minutes later, they issued an apology saying like, no, none of these are new shades. They're just reformulated shades from old palettes. So that was a little bit disappointing. I still think this is a really beautiful palette. I do have an affiliate code with Natasha Denona. It's just Melissa if you wanna save 15% off of her website. But I don't know if I need to necessarily pick this up, even though I think that it's beautiful. 3 of the shades are from the Midi Retro palette, which I own. And yes, I know they're reformulated shades. They're supposed to be better quality, but like for me, it's just not necessary. And then the two shades, the like duochrome shade, that's the shade that I'm most interested in, is from one of her 28 pan ones, one of her original launches, which I don't have, and I like that shade. But then the other shade that's in one of those 28 pan palettes is like this light rosy peach shade. It's like a very light matte shade, and like I could easily dupe that. So buying this palette, a 5-pan palette, for really only wanting one shade that I don't have, I'm just not finding that worth it. So I think that I'm going to skip, even though I was originally planning on picking this up right away. I just don't think I need it. I know a lot of people, you know, I've heard feedback that like, okay, well, you're not gonna travel with your midi retro palette. Like, this is more travel friendly. The shades are just put together really nicely and cohesively. But to that, I just say, like, Natasha Denona purposely makes her midi palettes customizable. Like, I can pop the 3 shades out of the midi retro and then dupe those 2 other shades and have that palette. If those shades didn't pop out of the midi palette, maybe I would reconsider or like understand that logic, but I don't know. Am I just missing something? I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the rush for it for me personally. If you don't have the retro palette, I think this is stunning. And I did hear rumors that they did copyright the midi rose palette, and that I would be all over. So I'm gonna hold out for that, but for this, I do think I'm gonna pass on. I would love to hear like your thoughts on this though. Like, I know some people I saw, like, for them, it's worth it to pick it up and good for them. But for me, I'm trying, like I said, to just be a little bit more mindful. Let's talk about the Urban Decay re-releasing the Naked palette. This is going to be available August 4th, the day that I'm putting this video up, and it's going to be $59. I believe that that is a price jump from the original Naked palette when they first launched it, but inflation, you know, whatever. I never purchased the original Naked palette. I never had it. And I'm not surprised that they're relaunching it. I think it's pretty smart of Urban Decay. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, they're not being very original. Urban Decay's not coming out with anything, but let's be honest, this palette's gonna make millions and millions of dollars. Like, Urban Decay's laughing themselves to the bank. I don't think that I'm gonna pick this up, even though I never had this palette. There's other neutral palettes that I want over this one, and I have enough neutral palettes. I really want the Makeup by Mario kind of coolish neutral palette. Like, that is the palette where if I was gonna buy, you know, my one and done neutral palette, and it will be my companion palette for everything, it would be that Makeup by Mario one. It wouldn't be this Naked one. It is funny though, them just re-releasing it. I was kind of thinking of like some video ideas recently, and one of the ideas I had was talking about like OG makeup products circa 2016 that went viral before viral was a thing that I just never owned, and this was on my list to talk about. So let me know if that video would be interesting. I thought it would just be kind of fun to like look back on makeup history and just talk about those kinds of products, and ones that I personally never got to try that everyone else was always raving about. And I've heard quite a few people say that they're gonna pick it up, whether that's for like nostalgia purposes or because they, just like me, never purchased it. So I don't know. I think it was smart of them. We can tell Urban Decay they're not being original, but they, I'm sure, don't care. Now let's talk about the Too Faced palette, talking about just like OGs, because this one actually caught my eye. I, just like the Naked palette, never have tried any of Too Faced's tin palettes. Never did the chocolate bar, never did like the gingerbread spice, the pumpkin pie, none of those. And this is the Appley in Love palette. So it's $54 and it is available now. I kind of like this. I don't know, this is the very first palette from Too Faced in this like tin component that is drawing me in. I heard that the Italian Spritz was a really great palette, but that color story just wasn't my vibe. I went back and forth on that one a lot. Like, I thought that might be my first Too Faced tin palette, but I think it might be this one. I don't know, I'm really liking it. For some reason, it's like warm tones, but desaturated. It's subtle warm tones. It's not like a straight up warm tone palette. and it has those pinky shades. I think that I'm gonna purchase this. I will not purchase it full price for sure. Like Too Faced does sales all the time. So this is one that I feel fine waiting it out and waiting for some kind of sale, but I think that this one's gonna break me. I think it's really pretty. It's not too colorful. It's just everything that I want in a palette. So I do plan on picking this up. Is this also one that has caught other people's eyes other than just mine? Because I think it's really pretty. Now, more palettes. I have a lot of indie palettes to talk about. Let's talk about the Ensley Reign. They came out, this is already launched, the 2 palettes and 2 blushes. This is the Flutter and Flourish collection. So let's see, the Flutter palette is $50, the Flourish is $55. They're smaller palettes, which I love. I'm really happy that Ensley Reign is taking customer feedback and doing smaller palettes. I think it's really smart of them. I think that this is really gonna open up their consumer base and allow so many more people to maybe try their products and then maybe splurge on those higher priced palettes. It was really, I don't know, to me, I think that this was really smart and I'm glad they did it. I will be picking up which one? The Flutter palette, which is the muted earth tones and soft pastels. That's just more my jam. The Flourish palette's a little bit too neon, a little bit too bright for me, so I will be skipping on that. I do also have an affiliate code with Ensley Reign. It's Melissa, if you want to save money off of your order with them, or just use someone else's affiliate code, just make sure you're using one. But I think this is really pretty. I mean, Ensley Reign does beautiful, beautiful products. The packaging is beautiful, the formula is beautiful. I do sometimes have some issues with their shimmers just being a little bit too flaky textured, but it's hard for me to see whether or not it has that formula in the palette. I'm willing to risk it though. I love their formula that much. This is a palette I'm gonna wait on, I think, only because living in Europe, this is just a logistics thing. By the time I pay for shipping and taxes, it's usually like double the palette. So I would rather pay $50 and like send it to family that live in America and have them bring it to me when they come to visit than paying $100 for the palette to have it right away. I don't need it right away. So this is one I will get for sure, just maybe not right now. One that I absolutely know I'm going to skip on is the Bella Beaute Bar launch. So this is gonna be available August 2nd, so it's already released. They're launching 2 palettes. So they're launching a 20 pan all matte palette that's half neutrals, half neons, I believe. And then they're doing a 6 pan of Molten chromes. It has 5 multi-chrome shimmers and 1 hollow chrome shimmer. Yeah, 6 pan. So the 6 pan is $60, and then the 20 pan all mattes is $36. And then they're also doing a blush palette that's $30. The blush palette, like absolutely not, skip. But the big palette, the matte palette, is not my jam. Even though it's half neutrals, I won't use the neons. The all shimmer palette, that's just not really my style. Like I'd rather get singles for some reason than this kind of palette. And the colors just aren't really like drawing me in. I'm sorry that the light's gonna go back and forth. This is actually my 2nd time filming this, but I had lipstick on my teeth for the entire video, so I'm gonna refilm it, but now like the lighting's not as good as it was. Anyways, if you like this color story, I will say, in my opinion, Bella Beaute Bar has an excellent formula. Their mattes are so good, and for $36, I think that's a really great price. I can understand why they separated it maybe, so that way, you know, if you don't want to spend the money on the special shades, you can spend a little bit less on all of their mattes. But their shimmers are really nice. Their mattes are excellent, excellent quality. Like they're pigmented, but not unblendable. Like you're not just stuck with this pigment. I find it very beginner friendly. As someone who's maybe not the best at blending eyeshadow, I find their formula to be really, really great. So I do love their formula, and if it was something like a color story that I loved, I would pick it up. But knowing myself, like I just am not going to use these neons, and I don't need more neutrals, so it's just not something for me. One that I'm like on the fence on. So this is one that I kind of want opinions, because I need to know. This brand has been on my list of brands to try for a while. They came out with like 2 other palettes that interested me, but I never pulled the trigger. I'm talking about Arttitude Cosmetics. So I think the one I was looking at was like the Man-Eater palette, if memory serves. I'm not 100% sure. This is the, what is this called? Metamorph palette. I love the theming. I love the purple. I love the butterflies. I've been wanting to try this brand for a while, and I kind of want this palette, even though I just said I'm not super into colorful eyeshadow. I think for me, this is like colors I could do. At first, I thought this was too colorful for me, but looking at it, I think it's just the blue. The rest of the colors, like there are some browns in there. There's like this mauve-y, there's an iridescent, there's like that sage green that I like, you know, there's a gold. I'm fine with green and the purple. It's just the blue that was kind of like, I don't know. But this is one where I would just like to hear, if you've tried Arttitude Cosmetics, like, is the brand worth it? Like, is it worth trying? I believe they just launched the price for this, and it's like 41 pounds, which, like, off the top of my head, not using a converter, I would assume is around $50 US-ish. So it's not the most expensive indie brand, but it's also, you know, like, it's still $50. So I don't know. This is one I'm like on the fence about. Like, it's taking a risk with a brand I haven't tried, but I've been wanting to try. And it's kind of like, do I prioritize this palette, or should I prioritize the Ensley Reign, which I know the formula. I love the formula. I love the brand. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, which one would you lean more towards? And if you tried both, which one would you recommend? Now, one that I know I'm picking up, like this is a palette I'm picking up for sure, is the Glaminatrix Barely Basic. If you're subscribed, if you watch my channel, like, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I love Glaminatrix. The Rich Romantic's one of my favorite palettes of all time. Like, if I had to rank like my top 5 palettes, that would be in there. So I had to get this. It's basic neutral shadows. So this is available for pre-order, and I believe that it goes live on August 4th, so the day this video is going up. It's $64, and I love it. Like, I love their shimmers, I love their mattes. At first, I was a little bit nervous on the mattes. They look like they go very deep, but I think that it's the lighting, because I have seen some videos, I've seen a lot of swatches on this palette, and it doesn't look like it goes as deep as it does in the original promo photo that I'm popping up here. So I'm a little bit hopeful for that, but if not, it's not that big of a deal. I know that Glaminatrix formula is very buildable. It won't just be that straight up pigment right away. Like, you can kind of layer and build that depth if you want to. So I'm not super worried about it. Now, I would like to know if you'd want a comparison video on the Barely Basics with the Nearly Natural, which was their other, like, now discontinued neutral palette. I know a lot of people missed out on that palette, or it's like their favorite palette of all time. So not that I think I'm gonna be the first person to do this, but would it be interesting to see a comparison of the Nearly Natural to the Barely Basics on how similar they are? Because I do think that there will be some overlap. The Nearly Natural has like these greeny tones. It has some of these pink tones in there. I don't have the palette next to me right now to like compare it, but thinking back, I think that color story is just a little bit more scattered. This one's laid out very nicely in columns to make it very user-friendly, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So I like the layout better, but I would think that there is some overlap. So would you want to see a video seeing on how similar it is? Like, do you need it if you already have the Nearly Natural, or is it a good replacement for the Nearly Natural? Let me know on that, because I will be picking this palette up. And then other palettes, let's see, what palettes do I have left? The Pat McGrath palettes. I'm just so tired. I am so tired. I heard from a commenter that Pat McGrath sold some of her shares, so she's like not majority stakeholder. She doesn't really have control of her company like she used to, and it really shows. It's just, this is not luxury. This is not unique. This is not innovative. It's not what it used to be, and it's just really disappointing. I will not be picking these up. $56 for these 2 quads. It also looks like these quads were like a late summer, or they were supposed to be launched in spring, and then they're not launched in spring. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it's cardboard packaging. Like, it's not the Italian formula. I heard that this is the formula made in the US, which we already know is not her better formula. So overall, just like disappointed, and really just like final nail in the coffin. I know that I've had like other Pat McGrath's releases. I'm like, this is it. I'm not buying from her anymore. Like, nail in the coffin. But this is like, we've been hammering the nails around the coffin visually, and this is like actually the final nail. Like, now the coffin is fully sealed, like lower into the dirt, like put the dirt over it. Like, we're just done. We're just done. There's one palette that I want from Pat McGrath. It's the Moonlit Seduction palette. But Pat McGrath's done sales in the past, and I haven't picked it up yet. So like, yes, I want that palette, but it really hasn't, like, I haven't bought it yet. I don't know if I will. That's the only palette I could see myself purchasing. And at this point, like, I'm sad. Like, I'm sad for the brand a little bit. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I have 2 other palettes to talk about. I wanted to talk about these Makeup Forever palettes, these little 6 pans, because I thought they were really cute. They're $32, and it's based off of their like really popular lip liners, the Anywhere Caffeine and Wherever Walnut. I never tried Makeup Forever lip liners. I haven't tried a lot from Makeup Forever, to be honest. I do want to get those lip liners eventually. I just have too many lip liners right now, but I thought these palettes were really cute, and I don't hear like anyone really talking about them. I kind of considered picking them up just to try the formula. The Wherever Walnut is way too warm toned for me. I mean, it's really, really warm toned. The Anywhere Caffeine though is cute. Like, it has just like your standard grounding mattes and then some like purple pink shimmers, right up my alley. So I don't know. I could see myself picking that up if like Makeup Forever did a friends and family sale or something like that, or I just wanted to add something to my cart. I don't think it's something I would like purposely go out and purchase, but I could see myself like adding that to cart at some point. And then the last palette that I want to talk about is this Moira palette. This is also one that I want to get people's opinions and thoughts on. This is available now. It's $16, and it's the Pretty Little Thoughts palette. A while ago, like a year ago, I want to say, did a full face of Moira, but I don't remember if I did eyeshadows or not. Like, I can't remember, so it clearly doesn't stand out in my head on the formula. I know that I've never purchased a Moira palette, so I might have tried like some singles or something like that. This palette's cute. I like it. I kind of want it. So I don't know. Am I wasting my money? Even though it's only $16, I'd love to hear if you've tried Moira, if the eyeshadow quality is good. I like that it's just like, it's semi-cool. You have some lighter to mid-tone shades. There's not a lot of super dark shades in this palette. Like, for my skin tone, that kind of just fits better. And I just think it's really pretty. I don't know. There's something about it that I just want. The sunlight is really bothering me, it coming in and out. It kind of just like, it irritates me only because this is the second time I filmed this video. And like, of course, like now the sun's just not cooperating. It's fine though. Life isn't perfect. Okay, I don't have too much more to talk about after palettes. Let's talk, what do I want to talk about next? Let's talk about this mascara, the Charlotte Tilbury mascara. It's available now in Europe. I don't have a price on it, but it looks really great. I mean, I'm assuming the models in these photos already have really nice eyelashes to begin with, because the after photos, I mean, I've never seen a mascara have the after photos that this one has. I don't think that this is a L'Oreal kind of Lashgate kind of situation. I'm trying to like zoom in on this photo here. I don't think so, but like maybe it's photoshopped. I don't know. I don't know what people can do nowadays. It does look really interesting. I'd love to see like reviews on this, but it's not something I'm gonna purchase right away. I'm sure at some point, just like with her Pillow Talk mascara, it'll come out in like a little mini and be a free gift with purchase, and I'll get it at some point in my makeup buying journey. So I'm not like super worried about it. Yeah, I have too many unopened mascaras to like really put this high up on my list, but I am very interested about it, and I will make sure and like keep an eye out for this mascara, definitely. And then some other things. Let's also talk about, do I want to talk about something positive or negative? That's kind of how I go through this. Let's talk about something negative. This Chipotle collab. Like, what is this? This is a collab with Chipotle and Wonderskin, which I've never heard of. And they're gonna celebrate the upcoming National Avocado Day with a new lip stain color. Long lasting as the original lip stain, but in a guacamole and green foil inspired color that peels off to reveal a rosy nude stain in Lipotle. Okay, so this is one product. I thought it was two. Okay, it's one product. I thought there was like a lipstick and then like this green foil shade. Now I understand. I should read the description better. So it's $29, limited edition. It's out now. It was released on July 30th. Just absolutely not. I just think this is like so gimmicky. I liked the e.l.f. and Chipotle collab. I didn't pick that up, but at least that was like cute and had a palette and like some other things. Like this I just find really weird. For some reason, Lipotle, like the name gives me like heaps. I don't know why, but like I don't like the name of that. Yeah, I don't like it. For some reason, like it gives me funny feelings inside and I just don't like it. I love Chipotle. They don't really have Chipotle in Europe. There's a Chipotle in Paris that I went to once, only specifically literally to go to Chipotle. Like that was one of the main factors of us like going to visit Paris, because I live about 8 hours from Paris. But after that, like I can't really get Chipotle here. Mexican food is not as popular in Europe as it is in the US. Now, moving on to, none of these are really, let's talk about the one that I do want to pick up. The Bare Minerals Bare Pro 16-Hour Wear Concealer. I feel like I'm probably the only one that's excited about this. So this concealer is it out now? Comes in 20 shades. It's out now. It's $30. So this is supposed to be a wear all over skin perfecting matte concealer, visibly improves skin tone and texture in just 1 week with SPF 25. I don't know if I've seen a concealer with SPF, at least not one that like stands out to me. I love trying complexion products. I love trying foundations, concealers. If you're subscribed, you know that. I have a whole playlist of foundation reviews. It is my favorite thing, and I really like Bare Mineral complexion products. I've tried the Complexion Rescue Foundation. I really enjoy that one. I've tried the Complexion Rescue Concealer. That's actually in my current Shop My Stash. I'll link that video up above if you want to see. And I like that concealer. It's okay. I hate the packaging, but this one has a doe foot. That one's just like a squeezy tube. It's terrible. But the formula is really nice, so I would consider picking this up. I would like to know if other people are interested in seeing how this performs, because I don't know if I want to pick it up necessarily if no one's interested. It would be nice if it was like a kill two birds with one stone type of thing. Like I'm interested, but I can also make a video. I don't know if I love it enough or I'd purchase it if I wasn't going to do a video, but I am kind of excited about it. I also was a little bit excited at first on this Ilia launch. So they're releasing Bronze and Glow Summer 2024. They're releasing a Sun Shift Cream Bronzer for $38 with 4 shades, and then a Light Shift Cream Highlight for $38 in 3 shades. I was immediately gonna purchase this, and then I looked at it more, and the bronzer is like a glowy bronzer. That's not for me. I don't mind a glowy bronzer if it's a powder bronzer where you can kind of like use it as a bronzer topper type of situation, but I don't go for glowy cheeks all by itself. I would much prefer like a matte cream bronzer. The NARS Laguna cream bronzer is my favorite cream bronzer. I've talked about that before. So this one, unfortunately, as much as I love Ilia as a brand, I tried their complexion product, their complexion stick, not that long ago, and I loved it. This one is just not made for me, and I need to accept that. It's hard. I like want to make it work for me, but it's not for me, if that's making sense. So unfortunately, like this one's gonna be a pass, but I am definitely gonna be seeing other people's reviews on this and seeing if the formula is really good, because something about Ilia, like I just like their branding and I like their products. So now let's talk about the 2 powder releases. So there's a powder release from LYS, 7 shades. It was available July 17th, so it's available now. I don't have a price on it, but it's supposed to leave a velvety finish, blur imperfections. And unfortunately, like I am kind of a snob and I like can't purchase this just because of the packaging. The triangle drives me nuts with the little circle in the middle. I really, really dislike it. I know that's like their thing, but I just can't do it. I have never tried LYS. It's on my list of brands that I would like to explore more. I don't think that they're available in Europe. I don't think. I haven't really like super looked into it, but powder is just not a category I'm like head over heels wanting to try. So this is just a no for me. I would like to hear any recommendations on LYS though, because eventually I do want to try some products. I pretty much want to try the cream bronzer. I think is top of my list. The foundation, of course, the concealer. Those are usually always the things that I'm interested in. So if you have like your top favorites from LYS, let me know down below. Those I don't mind in the triangle packaging, but the powder really bothers me. I don't know what it is about it. Like, I can't really explain it. I think it's the circle component on top of the triangle that really like throws me off. At least with the concealer, the foundation, it's just a triangle. Like, it's just a triangle. I don't know. I can't explain it, but that powder is out if you're interested and love LYS. And then Glamlite is also coming out with a powder. So this one's much less expensive. I didn't have the first price, so I don't know how much it was. This is $15 though. I'm assuming it's going to be less than the LYS if I had to guess. This comes in 5 shades. These are more like a baking powder. So again, like not interested. I think it's really cute. You know, Glamlite does cute packaging, a little reminiscent of Beauty Bakery, but also like, I don't know how many directions you can go with a baking powder. It just makes sense that it's like this bakery theme. I think it's cute, just not something I'm interested in. Like I kind of stick to my powders and use the same one and then eventually like repurchase it. I don't go through powder very quickly, and the other ones get left behind in my collection, and now I'm just trying to finish those up. So I would really rather not have more powder that I need to finish up in my collection that I don't love. So I won't be purchasing it. I would like to know feedback though, if it's good, like if it's a life-changing powder, because I mean, like I'm fine if something like tops my holy grail. I just don't necessarily want to like be the one testing out the products. I want to like see what other people think first for powder, I think. And then just a couple things left. We're gonna try and speed through this. The Guerlain collection for summer. I just wanted to talk about this because I like, just because. So this is gonna be available in August. This is Guerlain collaborating with Poochie. I don't know how to say that. Is it Poochie or Pookie? I don't know. Both are weird. I don't like either of them. It just looks like normal products with this like print on it. Marmo print details. So there's 2 lipsticks, an eyeshadow quad, bronzer, their meteorites, and then a brush. It's just all the same stuff. Every year I say I'm not gonna pick up the Guerlain limited edition bronzer, and this year I'm happy to say I'm actually not gonna do it because I'm just over spending my money, $50+ on a limited edition Guerlain bronzer, and remembering that I hate the Guerlain bronzer, but the packaging gets me. So luckily this packaging was an easy pass for me. I don't like it. I don't like it's like very 70s. It's just not me. Plus the bronzer, I honestly don't recommend. It's very orange toned bronzer and I don't like it. Even though their bronzer is very popular, I don't know why. I don't like it. The meteorites are fine. I haven't tried the eyeshadow to have an opinion, or the lipsticks. I would like to try their eyeshadow formula at some point. If I was to recommend anything from Guerlain, it would be their complexion products. The foundation and concealer are really, really, really nice. I either love their products, or I just completely hate them. And the bronzer is one that I completely hate, and this collection's just not for me. We do have a skin tint from Sigma. So this is $39. It's going to be available August 6th. It comes in 6 shades, and you know, I love trying foundations. I do kind of want to try this. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to pass on this, but I would, if someone was to like give it to me, I would definitely do a video and try it, but I don't think I necessarily want to spend my money on it. It's hard to explain as of right now. Like, I'm kind of feeling weird because normally I would just like buy. And now I'm like, it seems like a lot of work to like go online and purchase this. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's summer. I'm not really feeling like wearing foundation as much. Like I am today for the video, but I haven't really been wearing as much foundation. That typically happens in summer. So maybe that's why. But this is supposed to be a lightweight buildable coverage from sheer to medium. Nourishing ingredients like hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, squalene, and it's supposed to give a natural, dewy looking finish. So it looks nice. I mean, is this the first time Sigma's like ventured out into kind of complexion products? I know they had that color corrector, but I don't think they've had a foundation. Maybe I'm wrong. If you've tried this, because I know it launched early on TikTok, at least that's what I heard. Like I said, I'm not on TikTok. YouTube is my preferred form of content, and I just stick with that. So that's what I heard. If you've tried this and it's really good and I should give it a shot, like let me know, but I don't think I'll be trying this. And then we have the NudeStix stacks. So they're coming out with these blushes that are $24 each. I think there's 9. 1, 2, 3, 8. 8, I think. So they're these little magnetic stackables, very reminiscent of like what Melt used to do. The formula looks really nice. I will say that. The formula kind of reminds me of the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blushes that were popular for one time, just on how like they're describing it. So it's a color cloud, multi-stacking, multi-tasking. You can use it on your eyes, lips, and cheeks, and it's supposed to create like this blurring effect. It just, the cloud thing, the blurring, it sounds very much like the Bare Minerals, which I really love that formula. I think that this is like okay. I'm kind of interested in it, if I'm being honest, even though like it is kind of like the Melt thing. I still think this is smart. It goes with their aesthetic of kind of being like low maintenance, Glossier vibes with NudeStix. I just think in the future, it'd be smart if they do other products like a bronzer, a highlight, a complexion product. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a foundation, but maybe like a correcting type concealer, spot concealer type thing, to have a complete stack. Because to me, like, why are you gonna have 8 blushes in a stack? That's not travel friendly to me. So that's just like cool packaging, but not very efficient or useful. So hopefully they're gonna come out with like more of these face products where you can kind of customize your own little all-in-one face palette stack. I think that would be really cool. But as of now, like, this is not something I'm gonna pick up right away. I think it's smart. I think that it is really smart. I don't necessarily think they copied Melt, only because I've seen other brands do these like stack type things before. So I'm not gonna say they straight up copy them. Is it similar? Yes, Melt's well known for that, but I don't think it was a straight up copy. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this Prada. This Prada $90 powder. Only because it's $90 I want to talk about it. It's supposed to be a weightless, rebalancing setting powder that instantly mattifies, gives a soft focus effect on skin while controlling shine all day long. It's $90. I just can't spend that much on a powder. I can't. This is short-lived. Like, this is just a no. I really just wanted to speak on it. I know a lot of people have. I'm sure there's gonna be videos on it. I will watch those videos. It's gonna be a great thumbnail of like, is it worth it? but I'm not gonna do that. I will watch that content and find out. But for me, like if this was $60, I would consider it. I would be that clown that considers buying a $60 powder, but 90 is too much. Too much for me. I reached my cap, I reached my limit. So that's my thoughts on the Prada. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like if it's less, like what's your limit on a powder product? What's your limit on like makeup in general? Because we all kind of have like those boundaries, those like monetary boundaries, right? I'm gonna go on like a little tangent. Like there's just certain things I wouldn't spend over a certain amount on, regardless of like how life-changing it is. Like I am not gonna spend $500 on a serum, for example. I don't care how life-changing it is, like unless it actively like has magic that's going to turn back time, like I just wouldn't purchase that. So like, what do you think? Like 90 for me is too much. I think like 60, even 70, I could maybe splurge on, but 90, I just couldn't. What other products? Like for me, primer. Primer's a good one because like I don't really love primer. There's also the Prada primer. I'm not gonna speak on it, but primer, I don't think I'd spend more than like $40. That's being generous, really 30. 30 is like where I'd wanna stick around that. But it is kind of interesting, like just thinking on like what my monetary boundaries are is what I'm gonna call it. Anyways, the light is getting worse and worse and worse. I am so sorry about that. But like I said, please just stick with me. Hopefully it won't be like this anymore. Had my first video been fine, the lighting was perfect. But seriously, there's lipstick all over my teeth the entire video and I didn't notice it and I just had to refilm. So please bear with me. I appreciate you, but this is where I'm gonna leave you all. Let me know your thoughts down below on these new makeup launches. I hope you're having a great one and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.